job, one of my jobs is to tell stories. And so when you do that, you put on your website and on your business card, you say that you're a storyteller. And what that means is that you craft these really careful stories that kind of lead people along, and they don't telegraph the end till like right before, and then you think you saw it coming before, which is all totally on purpose. And it's this really nuanced thing that takes months and months and many shows of rehearsal to perfect. This is not that kind of story. Just wanted to make sure that you were really clear about that. This is not a story that I've rehearsed. It's not a story that's written, but it's true. It's a true story, and it seemed like the right story to tell at this particular show. And it's a story, parts of which take place here at AS220. And what I usually call this story when I tell it to people is Three Fires. So that's what it's called. And it happened, I don't know, maybe 20 years ago, something like that. It was in the early days of this building being this building, so late 90s, early 2000s. And there was a week in my life where in that week, in that 7 days, I encountered 3 fires in the same week. And all those fires had an element of luck to them. So the first fire was sort of a small fire, but it was still weird. So I was in Warwick, and I went into the Taco Bell drive-thru. If you like that, this story's going to be awesome for you. So I'm in the Taco Bell drive-thru, as I am wont to do on occasion. So while I'm in line, after I get my order, I turn the corner, and you're in that kind of holding pattern before you have to pay and then get your order. And the car in front of me is filled with teenage boys. And there's a cloth, some kind of cloth banner hanging off the side of the Taco Bell advertising whatever, iteration of wrapping a burrito around a taco for that month. It's advertising that. And one of the kids in the back of the car reaches out with a lighter and he sets it on fire. So they're in front of me and they set this thing ablaze and it's on fire now. And then they just go up and they pay for their food and then they leave. And it's still on fire. So I have to like awkwardly kind of inch forward passing the on fire thing. And then I get up to the lady that you pay, not the person you get your food from, but the pay lady, and I said, hey, just so you know, the banner behind me is on fire. I didn't set it on fire, but the guys in front of me set it on fire, and it's still on fire. And she goes, oh, thank you, we're lucky you were behind them, because the last time somebody set one on fire, they didn't tell us. Well, you're welcome then. Great. And so then, I presume, I never saw it get put out. I just presume somebody came out and put it out. So that was the first fire in the middle of the week. So then we used to, Pam and Johnny and I used to play in a funk band together that rehearsed here on Sunday mornings. And so I'm coming here for a rehearsal on a Sunday morning, right? So 9, 10 o'clock, something. And I came off the highway and over by the hotel over there to take the corner to come here to AS220. At the time, and if you've lived in Providence for a while, you know that there used to be a police and fire station right over there, right? It was a parking lot now. But there was a police and fire station there. So I'm at the red light at the hotel, and I'm behind the only other person who's at the red light is a flatbed pickup truck that has a car on it, like a flatbed tow truck, and it has a car on it. And then while I'm sitting there at the light, a van pulls up alongside me. So I'm just sitting there waiting for the light to change, and I look over at the guys in the van and kind of like say hi. And then while we're waiting for the light to change, the smoke starts to pour out of the car on the flatbed. Like, not the truck that's carrying it, the car that's not going anywhere. Smoke starts pouring out of the window of it. And then it bursts into flames. The whole car. Wow, and the light's still red. Like, in flames. And I look over at the guys in the van and they're like, like they had not, we didn't have anything to do with that. And the guy in the van says to me, they're making a movie. I'm like, no, they're not making a movie. Like, that car's on fire. And then the light changes, and the flatbed tow truck just goes, because it's green. And so he comes around the corner, and I'm right behind him, and he pulls in front of the fire station, which is miraculously right there. So he's literally 150 feet from the fire station. And two firemen come out of the fire station, and they're looking at each other like, what the fuck? You don't bring us a fire. We go to the fire. Don't deliver fires to us. And I watched this whole thing unfold. I was like, that guy driving that truck is the luckiest motherfucker alive. But it's still the firemen, like, it was great, because they just took forever just looking at each other like, I don't even, like, maybe we're not putting it out. Call it in, and then we'll drive around the block and come. But they just came and put it out with like a fire extinguisher, and it was very sad. But it went right out, and I was like, man, that was lucky. So that was the second fire. And then a couple days later, I made a terrible mistake. I agreed to go to the beach with an ex-girlfriend. Never do that. Never do that. You go for coffee. That's it. Like within like a mile of your own home. So we went to the beach. We're friends now, right? It's been a year or a year and a half. It's been a long time. We're friends. Everything's fine. It's fine. So we go way the F out to Little Compton to go to the beach. I know, what a fucking moron. So we go to the beach, and everything's fine on the beach, or so I think. It's like the beach, and you swim, and you hang out, and you eat some potato chips. Like, okay, good, okay, I can get through this day, everything's gonna be fine. And then she starts to have this talk about, you know, it doesn't even matter, you know what I mean, like it's the talk, it's the terrible talk about why we should, I know I screwed everything up and cheated, but let's get back together again, it's gonna be great, and like all of that, and you can't leave because now you're, you know, at Goosewing and you're trapped, right, and you're trapped there and you're having this conversation. So Goosewing Beach has a special thing about it, and it's not just where people who have broken up go to talk. Behind the beach, there's a bird sanctuary, right, for piping plovers, these little beautiful little seabirds. And so we're sitting there having this talk, and I'm like, please God, deliver me from this conversation. Like, what I wouldn't give. And I swear to you, I turned around, and the tall grass behind me was fucking ablaze. I don't know why, I don't know if somebody said it or what, but it was like a fire. And I looked and I looked at her and I was like, it's a fire! You know, and the birds! And I got up and there was a guy on another blanket who grabbed his kid's like bucket and ran to the beach. And you know, there's no like road to get to it for fire trucks to come or whatever. So like me and this guy with the bucket like go back there, and then another few people come, and we're like trying to stomp this fire out, you know, and so I'm like thinking like, I can't deal with that fire, but this fire, I know how to put that out, and I have never been happier or felt luckier destroying a pair of job lot flip-flops than I was on that day. 3 fires. Thanks.